Sports is live. Let's go.
We're definitely live.
This is exactly where we're going live. And listen,
Yeah.
folks, always want to remind you that we are streaming in all major platforms. So please do like, share, and subscribe. And if you don't know now, you know we did take a couple weeks off. Johnny Cinco, I had a vacation.
Yes.
You had a vacation.
Yes.
Did you have a good time? You came back refreshed?
Yes, I am very, very much ready to go.
Ready for another season of Florida Man Sports?
This is a new season. We take a couple weeks off, a new season. All right, let's go.
I mean, that's the way it goes. Now, for me, I thought that we were going to come back. You know, the producers were going to have everything set up, new studio. I was denied. I was lied to. But nevertheless, I just want to say,
Oh my God. What?
I had me a great no, yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Sure.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
He dropped the new single you needed to get.
I had
You've
to
been
do it, man,
listening
because
to
we're
it-
back, man. The boys are back.
Listening to it all damn day.
Listen,
That's
thank you
right,
so much for those of you who are following us as we are live at 8 Eastern. And please do like, share, subscribe. We are trying to get to 100 Facebook likes, page likes, so that we can be live on Facebook as well. And Johnny Cinco, what has happened since we've been gone the last couple weeks?
Oh, a lot of things have happened. Obviously, OTAs for all of our teams, they ended today. Today
Yes.
was their last day. We had a couple things happen. Aaron Rodgers finally officially signs with Pittsburgh. We have some interesting news with your boy, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer, AB, Antonio Brown, we'll talk about. So it's been an interesting few
And as
few
always,
weeks.
it's kind of funny you said that because Antonio Brown is a Buck or was a Buck, right? So, but we do always start with our Florida teams first. I will say before we get started, Johnny, I will never, ever Dave Portnoy you. I will never do that. Listen, I know that, I pay the bills for
Okay.
this.
Okay.
I would never do that to you. I just want you to know that on live. That I would never do that.
Thank you. It's all right. I appreciate that. It's okay. Hey, Dave, you're listening. I'm more than happy to go ahead and work for Barstool and
my
leave this fool behind. It's no problem, man. But either way, I get what you're saying. I appreciate it.
Oh, let's rock on. Let's get this thing started. We're going to start with Jacksonville. OTAs is here. It's mini camp. I don't know the term mini because of the date. They call it mini camp. But we got nothing better else to talk about. It's exciting time. We get to see our rookies, Johnny Cinco.
I get it.
I got a little good, bad, and ugly of each team, starting with Jacksonville.
Okay.
I want to start with Travis Hunter. I've been so critical of Travis Hunter. You know that. I'm not happy that we drafted him. You know the whole spiel.
Yeah, you're not. I am.
Okay. So, and a lot of fans are happy. Let me give him some credit. For as far as OTAs is considered or concerned, from the last couple of weeks, the guy has taken some big steps forward. I still think that he should be on one side of the ball. I'm going to stick by what I said.
Yeah, but that's you don't get
But
drafted.
I'm very happy to see that. What are your thoughts?
You don't get drafted that high for playing one side of the ball. He was a very good wide receiver, the best corner. So he wants to keep that going. I respect the man for sticking to his guns and saying, no, this is what I want to do. I want to play both sides because that's what made you the number 2 overall pick. So, no, I know what you're saying. No, he has the skill set to do it. I know early on we weren't hearing the hype, but Chris loves OTAs. He'll talk about OTAs.
There's a lot of stuff that's going on, man. Are you kidding me?
And like for me, OTAs are like this is just a practice. Practice? Yes, it's just practice here. So I get it. There's a lot of things. Ideally, OTAs I don't care about. I only care about it if you're dealing with new players, you're dealing with rookies or a new coaching system, which is in the entire Jacksonville Jaguar franchise. So for Jacksonville, it does matter. OTAs do matter for Jacksonville. New coaching staff, so many new players, a lot of rookies in place that are expected to fill prominent roles.
Yeah.
So yes, OTAs matter in that respect.
And
so,
I'm happy to see that Travis Hunter has taken a good step forward. It's a good sign for a guy that should hopefully still play only one side of the ball.
Yeah, I understand. But, I mean, of course he's going to go ahead from day one to whatever day we're at right now. Of course you can see some progress. You better hope to see some progress. If not, you're in big trouble. But it's too early to kind of see certain things. Now, obviously what we want to see from Travis Hunter is simple. Is he a generational talent, like I think,
right. Well,
or is he an average player like Chris thinks he's going to be?
It's going to take time, but again, and I'll leave it here before I talk about a little bit more about Jacksonville. But it was really great to see, just because he looked choppy at the very beginning. He looked really choppy, maybe too excited, and then he settled down. So very happy to see that. Other good news that's happening in Duval, Johnny Cinco, Brian Thomas. We thought that he got hurt, right? Remember you saw that. Ends up that he's doing really well. He was actually able to put on the pads again.
Okay.
Very happy to see that. And then the last good thing I saw about training camp, Johnny Cinco, is, correct me, D Brown, however you want to say it. having a great camp, a lot of connections with Lawrence immediately. It's really happy to see because now you're putting everything together with Hunter, right, and with Thomas Jr. So good highlights for me. What do you think?
Well, with everything with Jacksonville, my biggest thing, especially OTAs coming into it, is what we just referenced here with Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas had such an amazing, under the radar, amazing rookie year. And now it just comes down, not to mention Cohen. Cohen's coming in here. Is your philosophy that you want to go ahead and try to go ahead and emulate and try to go ahead and transfer over to your players and try to see, are they buying into it? Are they going to go ahead and take this? So I want to see what Thomas especially, is this guy is expected to be like to go and take that leap. You're not supposed to take a sophomore slump. Not this guy with that great rookie year with that system he had under Peterson. Now you're coming in. If this guy has a sophomore slump, it's 100% on Cohen. It's not on this kid.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in seeing what's going to happen there. Yes, he's had good practices, Chris, but they're practice. It's kind of like
Practice.
All right, cool practice. He's had good practices. Travis Hunter's coming around, but I'm looking, for me personally, I'm more focused on Cohen more than anyone else. OTAs, which is on the coach, not the rookies, not these stellar Travis Hunter. No, it's Cohen.
That's fair. You're kind of talking a little bit about maybe the concerns or the bad, if you will, of camp right now. And speaking of that, Johnny Cinco, are you at all concerned with Travis Hunter's contract negotiations?
No, he's going to be fine.
He hasn't signed the $46 million contract because he wants the terms. Any concerns there?
I'm fine. I'm more interested, most of us, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, what's going on with the Bengals. These fools are trying to go and implement some language that has never been seen before, really trying to take advantage of a rookie here. So that's more an interesting story here. Yeah. That language isn't really implied here with Travis Hunter. This is just minor little things. It'll get settled. I'm not reading too much into that story there. I'm very excited about Jacksonville, what they're going to do here.
Yeah. No, you brought up Shamar Stewart. You're absolutely right. The difference between both of them is one is at home while you still see Travis Hunter playing his heart out. So kudos to him for that.
Yes.
And then the only other thing I have so far in camp as a bad thing or a concern thing is, of course, Trevor Lawrence. We know the injury, right, happened December 17th, the left AC joint. We're talking about a guy here, $142 million at signing, and then $55 million this year, wearing a sleeve. And the coach is even saying that he's wearing it as a cause, just being cautious, not because there's anything wrong. Cause to be concerned?
I think Jacksonville Jaguar fans don't care about any of this. It's do or die time for Trevor Lawrence. I mean, enough is enough. I mean, the reality is in today's NFL, you got 3 years essentially to show you got something going here. Trevor Lawrence has had a flash of a season. He's had, some injury concerns. I don't want to hear about your injuries.
No, right.
I don't want to hear about anything else here. Perform. Find a way. Perform. Figure it out. I mean, Jacksonville, don't get me wrong. Jacksonville's stuck with this guy. The contract they gave him when they didn't need to give him, they gave it to him early, and they're trying to save money. That means they believe in him. We're trying to go ahead and save a few bucks and give it to you early, instead of making him earn it and say, no, you know what? Show us. But Jacksonville, is a franchise that's trying to go ahead and make their way and really change everything that the culture that's in Jacksonville right now. They're trying to change that up here. So they're riding. Everything is riding on Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see.
And truth be told, you make a really good point. We talk a lot about Tua and the injuries, the fact that he's only had one full season where he's been healthy. And here is Lawrence, who only played 10 games last year, missed the game the year before that. And we're talking about Travis Hunter this and how the Jaguars are going to do with the new coach and GM and all that.
Yeah.
But he's got to be healthy. He's got to be at an elite level, at least whatever elite is for him, right?
Yes.
And see where the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to land. Now, Johnny Cinco, before we jump to the Miami Dolphins, our producers are telling me here that the audio is low. That's the feedback I'm getting from our producers.
Okay.
But here, you gave us the studio. What do you want me to do? Like, we came back to the same studio. Like, we're supposed to have leather.
I agree. We're supposed to have something set up there. I'm supposed to have some massage seats. I ain't getting these here, so I don't know what's going on. But
Florida Man Sports streaming on all major platforms.
Either way, my biggest disappointment right now for Jacksonville is that we are looking at this team, a good team. But what stands out most to me, dude, these are all young guys.
Right.
There's no veteran presence there. And I'm still looking at a guy like Amari Cooper, who doesn't have a job, who's on any team. And I'm like, you have a receiver, Thomas. I mean, that dude's going to be this season is going to show me, is this guy going to be amazing,
100%.
or is he going to be like, oh, it's just one good season? But still, Amari Cooper, even though his best days are behind him, the guy has gas left in the tank. he still can be he's a former Pro Bowler that could be in the receiver room that can go ahead and lift us. Gabe Davis wasn't the guy. We already knew that. They released him. It's done. They have a chance of bringing, and
You'll try to find a way to throw Thorne at me.
He's not going to cost this team a lot of money, and it's really something they should really consider. Look into Amari Cooper to come in, not to be the number one. Number one's Thomas, but to really still head and elevate this receiver room. But we'll see what happens. We'll see. There's still time for them to go and make some moves and figure it out. They have some money to go and play with. But that's what I'm waiting for them to see. Where's your veteran presence on offense? I don't see anyone there that's really who's your best veteran on offense? Trevor Lawrence? That's not it. So it is interesting. They obviously Jacksonville made a bunch of moves.
Yeah.
They signed a tight end and Quentin Morris. Yeah. They released Patrick Morteau. They signed Dwayne Smoot. They gave a extension to their punter. So they made some things happening here, but there's nothing that splashes like, oh my God, this is a move that's going to go ahead and really elevate this team. And that's what I'm waiting for.
To your point, I think, and we stand by this here at Photoman Sports, it's all going to depend on Lawrence and how quick he can build that continuity with that team, because you make a good point. He's essentially the leader at this point, where he's at right now. Moving on to the Miami Dolphins here, folks. Photoman Sports, streaming on all major platforms. And, we criticized them, then we talked about how good they were. Let's talk a little bit about the good and the bad of what we've seen in minicamp so far for the Miami Dolphins, Johnny. I want to start with Tua. Last year, the narrative was that now he's more outspoken. Last year was a narrative that now he's telling people what to do kind of thing, which is good. You want to see that from your QB1. Now we're talking about the expectations around the team. The word on the street in minicamp, if you will, is now the question is, are you satisfied with just making it to almost the playoffs, right? One game last year from the playoffs. Where are we at as a team? And so that's the new narrative right now in Miami during minicamp. Are you surprised by that? Is this expected? Are you happy with what you're hearing? I, as a Miami fan, I'm happy with what I'm hearing because I'm tired of settling. We need to get into the playoffs, and this team can do it.
Well, I'm high on Miami, just like I'm high on Jacksonville. The only Florida team I'm not high on, if you listen to the show, is on Tampa, opposite to you. But when I'm looking at the roster, listen, and the OTAs, which you put so much weight on, the defenses look outstanding. Defenses look dominant. But, guys, relax. It's just practice. This is practice. Like, I don't really know what I'm looking at. You get a glimpse of it in preseason, a glimpse, because they're still trying out players and figuring things out, doing something else. But really, you don't know till the season starts. A couple weeks in, you kind of see what team you got working, what you're working with here. But with Miami, it's just a concern of, okay, we already know, Chris, who your quarterback's going to be. Obviously, Tua's your guy. There's Zach Wilson, and there's Quinn Ewers, and it's kind of like the battle in there. The only storyline I see in there is, can Ewers overtake Wilson? Can he actually go ahead and take over for the number 2 spot? That's what interests me with Miami. The defense looks amazing. Now, Jalen Ramsey, there's always talks about if he's going to be on the roster. I don't think he will be on the roster.
So you're talking about two different things. For starters, Zach Wilson is where this PG show crapping the bed, for a better word, so far. I mean, seriously, it's instant reaction.
PG-13, they allow you to say a couple curse words. You can say the S words.
But Ewers, how you pronounce it? He's actually doing really well.
Of course he's doing well because he's practicing against his own players, man.
It's nice to know that we have somebody.
God, we set the
if
bar
something happens
so
to Tua.
low.
No, that's okay. I'm happy about that. The other side, and you were just talking about this, is unfortunately, right? Trades have to happen. Jason Marshall Jr., man, talking about the 5th round draft pick. Okay. Kudos to him. He's been the talk of the town for Miami, and I'm very
talk of the town.
Yeah, he has, and I'm very happy to see that, considering the fact that Jalen Ramsey is still for sale. He's still trade bait. So I don't know if I thought he was going to go during the draft. To your point, you were talking about him earlier, but ultimately, it's nice to know that Jason Marshall is ready to go, next man up, when this trade happens. And then, to kind of put it all together, and to your point, if the QB2 battle is a problem, maybe you can address that then. If you feel like Zach Wilson maybe needs to get cut, is that what you're kind of thinking about?
No, there's some guaranteed money tied into Wilson.
Who cares?
The only thing I'm saying is it's simple. They're going to keep 3 quarterbacks because of the history of Tua. But remember what I talked about, can this possibly be Zach Wilson's, like Sam Darnold type year? Some year he comes in somehow and he really shows up and he really lives up to his draft stock that he was when he was drafted. And we all know, if Ewers overtakes him in minicamp or in the preseason, then Zach Wilson's career as a starter is over. There's no chance he's ever going to be a starter again. It's just not going to happen. He's going to be a lifelong backup at best. That's what's going to happen there. If you're going to let a rookie come in and go ahead and take your spot, after you've been in the league a couple of years, you were with the number 2 overall pick, just a few years ago. So no, I don't. That's an interesting storyline there. Obviously, we've talked about. I've been talking that I think Tyreek Hill will be traded, but it seems that's just me speculating this. Now, that doesn't mean he won't be traded mid-season if Miami falls off. Other teams, Miami falls off, I guarantee you, Hill will be traded.
We just got another comment coming in right now. Again, Florida Man Sports streaming on major platforms that somebody's saying that nobody's better than Tebow. I don't know why you're going to bring up Tebow in a conversation. Maybe because we're talking about the second backup position.
Okay,
maybe
sure,
I don't even know why Tebow was just dropped right now.
Tebow.
But again,
we'll talk about Tebow once we start getting into
college
college
it's coming
football.
live. As far as concerns, Johnny Cinco, and again, we've been very critical of all of our teams here because we're going to give you Florida Man Sports the perspective from the Florida Man. And I'm going to tell you something, Johnny.
Okay.
Well, let's talk about the bad, right? Let's be very clear right now. Who is going to be the tight end for Miami?
Well,
we're talking about Tua staying healthy for 17 games. People were talking about who's going to be the tight end number 2. Who's going to be tight end 1?
Well, the tight end 1 obviously is Geno Smith. So
yeah,
on the roster,
he hasn't played. He hasn't gotten the he wants to get paid.
Listen, Smith has lost his damn mind because obviously on the roster is Tanner Connor, Farrell Brown are the other tight ends in Miami. Now Smith, who really blew up. Trust me, he was on my fantasy team. He really helped me out. He got me in the playoffs. So, but calm down. You had a half season where you blew up. Now all of a sudden, from essentially 6-7 games, give me all the money. Now he came close to getting traded to Pittsburgh, but he didn't get traded because this fool wants too much money. I get it. You want to try to get as much as you possibly can.
And he's not at camp, Johnny Cinco. We're talking about a team that I'm expecting because the Bills are at Hard Knocks. I'm expecting them to try to win the division. You can't do that when you're not protecting and you're not helping your quarterback, right?
This is what I expect. With Smith ain't getting a contract. At best, he'll get more money for this particular year. This year at all. They're not going to. The Dolphins don't have the money to offer some type of a massive extension, and he doesn't have the body of work to warrant a contract extension that he wants. He had some good games, and I saw that what he could be with Miami. And hey, prove yourself through an entire season and go ahead and make that money. You'll get a massive contract from Miami or another team.
Does that make you concerned though? The fact that you're talking about a team that's supposed to make a playoff run that doesn't have a tight end 2, let alone right now a tight end 1. That's a cause for concern, man.
Like I said, the tight ends currently right now, Tanner Connor, Farrell Brown, they have the tight ends there now. I don't know. Are those guys going to go and match the production that Smith did? No, I don't think so. But I think Smith, he knows that if this fool tries to sit out, he doesn't. You can sit out if you have a body of work, that you have a resume that shows your production. He doesn't. He has less than half a season that shows what he did.
He's playing year 1 of the 2-year deal, and he did outplay his contract. So you got to give him
outstanding.
You got to give him credit for that.
It worked out. He did very well, but it's kind of like, okay, now let's go ahead and see what. So I think that he'll get a slight bump in his pay this year. Miami will find a way, but they're not giving him an extension. That's fine. Produce. If he balls out halfway through the season, I guarantee you Miami will find a way to give him an extension. They don't want him walking if they figure it out. But he's going to have to go ahead. I think he will. I think he's doing what a lot of guys are doing now, understandably so. He's playing hardball, but I expect Geno Smith to go ahead and be suited up week 1.
Let's go. Hey, Johnny Cinco, I know that, taking vacation 2 weeks, starting a new season, I know we kind of be a little rusty, right? This and that. But before we talk about the Bucs, let's talk about the Bucs.
Okay.
We had our draft, and we didn't draft him, but we did sign Desmond Watson. You familiar with Desmond Watson, the Gator, the big dude from the Gator, the biggest dude?
The biggest guy in the NFL, right?
Yeah. A lot of people say I look like him, so I just want to throw that out there.
I don't know if that's a compliment.
No,
he's the biggest guy in the NFL. All right, sure.
That's a compliment, baby.
All right,
let's go. Talking about the best team in Florida right now because they are the returning division champions.
Okay.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Johnny Cinco, the good, the bad on what's going on so far with them. Now, for me, and again, I'm a diehard Buc fan here, all about the defense. I'm so happy to see a healthy defense out in Tampa Bay. This year, something that I noticed, Johnny, a lot of interceptions by Mayfield so far in camp. a good thing in a sense because the defense is revitalized and ready to rock and roll. Hoping that obviously Grizzard, however you pronounce the name, the new offensive coach, obviously settles down at his camp. He's got to take it with a grain of salt. But again, one thing that's really good coming out of camp, Johnny, is the Bucs defense is for real. And last I checked, you need a defense to win championships.
Okay. OTA reports are largely written by pro team reporters who want to keep their credentials. So you sit here and be like, oh, they look amazing. They're playing against their own players. Okay. So while I'm looking at it and be like, okay, they look decent, I'm not putting as much weight on it as Chris is. Essentially, Tampa Bay is running it back. While they have a couple players, they obviously went ahead and drafted a Mecca. And obviously, my concern is what Reddick. It's kind of like those are the guys I'm looking at because you're a rookie, you're the first round draft pick, you're the main free agent pickup. OTAs coming up here. What are you doing here? Are you binding to bowl system? Are you really fully committed? Reddick especially. Because I need to see that you're completely bought in.
He
you're
showed up to
it.
minicamp. What do you want to see? Listen.
Yes,
we got another post here coming up that says you're being really negative. Literally saying why is the co-pilot being so negative?
I'm the co-pilot. Okay. Anyway, so when you're looking at it, I want to see that he bought into it, and I'm not going to really know until he faces some type of difficulty. So right now,
he looks in great shape, Johnny. He looks
He
great.
should be. He's a professional football player. He should be in great shape. There shouldn't be anyone out of shape here. The only out of shape player I've seen, which is like in the Commanders. Who he's about one Big Mac. What? Yeah, Debo is about one Big Mac shy of being a tight end. So it's like that's when I'm looking at like sideways, like
that's summer weight. You figure
something out there. We'll see about that. But with Tampa, yes, they're looking good in practice.
How about we get excited that the Bucs are healthy once again? The
yes,
defense
they're
looks
healthy.
good.
There's never been an issue with them being healthy in their OTAs.
When you have Hassan Reddick, Yaya Diaby at the front, when you've got the linebacker position, which we didn't draft for, but yet we look strong, I'm feeling good. My concern, since you want to be Mr. Negative Nancy.
I'm not being negative.
Negative Nancy. My concern, and I said this in the draft, is that while we did have a great draft, Johnny, we didn't address the tackle position. And so now Wirfs, for example, if you guys are watching, got hurt. They sat him out the last couple of days. They're like, you know what, we're precautionary. He's fine. But it's a cause for concern. You go to Barton, our center last year. He wasn't a very good center last year. Let's be real.
Okay, yes.
And so
I'm glad you admitted that.
On top of exactly. So it's the offensive line. So the bad for the Bucs going into minicamp right now that we're coming out of it, Johnny, is the offensive line needs to be addressed. Please. Free agency. You said free agency with Jacksonville. Johnny, you said free agency with Jacksonville. Address it. Let's add a little bit more depth because I don't want us to be like, wow, we're a powerhouse defense and then we're struggling on offense or we're forcing the ball. Because the offensive line gets hurt or there's an issue there. So please address the offensive line.
You say this, but it's a little late for that. That's my main issue why I have Tampa. I'm being negative. I'm being a realist. That's why I'm looking at Tampa as our Florida teams as they're going to be number 3. Jacksonville and Miami are going to finish ahead of Tampa this year because what did Tampa do in the draft? They addressed great depth in the corner, edge rusher position, and wide receiver position with their day 2 and day 3 picks. They did everything that great, but they didn't address those key needs that you just referenced right now. And so I was like, hey, let's go ahead and reference it now. It's a little late right now to go ahead and try to revamp it. They're going to ride it out what they got.
I'm just saying to add some depth. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, they added depth in positions they had plenty of depth in. That's the issue. They already had depth and like, let's go give them more. I don't care that those positions, edge rusher or the wide receiver position, they have depth. They already were good in those spots. Those rooms were good. And instead of addressing their needs, they just doubled down on rooms that they were fine at. So now they're running it back with the same squad they had last year. And the key pieces they picked up in the draft and the free agent, with the exception Reddick, I don't think is going to work out the way you think is. You think that it's going to work out with Tampa?
Everybody's raving about Ibuka. What are you talking about?
Yeah, of course, I'm great. I'm glad he's great. But there's always issue. Wide receiver room, they're selfish. They're players that are the ego to, like out of this world. And you're gonna go and bring in this guy, taken away from Josh Palmer, taken away from other guys that are in the room that like have shown some growth. And it's kind of like, no, we're not gonna go ahead and
Palmer, you mean the steal of the draft according to Randy Moss?
So anyway, you're taking away from key players. Plenty of wide receivers showed growth last year, and now we're going to bring this guy in. Is he lights out? You just signed Godwin. You have obviously the great future Hall of Famer Mike Evans, and there's no need to pick up this guy when you had all those other issues. So this guy, what you're talking about here with Emeka better be freaking Randy Moss. He better be Randy Moss. You're going to go ahead and do what you did.
He doesn't need to be Randy Moss.
He does. In the position that you drafted him in, if he's not, it's a disappointment because you already had guys that were at his level, if not better, and now they have to take a step back for his growth. That doesn't make any sense to me. I'm telling you right now, Chris, I've said this before, this is Bowles' last shot. He can no longer ride in the coattails of Bruce Arians.
It's not just about that, Johnny. The reason why it's like that, you're not wrong, but the reason why it's like that, it's because you have a team that is a team that even Baker Mayfield said it himself during this camp. We're not just looking to win the division anymore. We're looking to win playoff games, and he borderline said Super Bowl, right? To be at the game, not win it, but be at the game. So, yes, of course you're right. Of course he's on a short leash in that perspective. But at the end of the day, last year, if you watched every game like I did, you know that it was injuries that riddled the defense. It is what it is. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, if we're healthy, there's no excuse, which is my whole point, that the offensive line should have been addressed. But I'll leave it at that.
You're right.
I said what I said.
You're right. It was injuries that riddled the defense. So let's go ahead and draft a bunch of offensive players. Yep, that makes perfect sense there. Let's go and draft it.
We signed free agents. Hasan Reddick.
One.
Nice try. Nice try.
One.
Nice
One.
try. Nice try, though. Nice try.
One.
Nice try. You walked into the wall there.
Sure.
All right, kind of did. Florida Man Sports, streaming on all major platforms. Always talking about the Florida teams first here. Johnny Cinco. Moving on for the rest of the NFL. What are the highlights? What's going on right now?
Well, I am concerned about the holdouts that are going in place right now here. I mean, the main holdouts in place, you have this situation going on in Cincinnati, which is kind of nuts. Obviously, you have Hendrickson, which is the best edge rusher in the game right now. He's holding out because he's underpaid. That position, obviously, Myles Garrett has changed everything, and he's holding out there, and that's something to worry. But the thing is that and then we have the big news with the rookie, that Cincinnati is trying to go ahead and force in some language, change the game for rookies to basically being like, you're a rookie, we don't care, we're going to go ahead and essentially have any little opportunity to void any guaranteed money you have. And so the rookie is trying to go ahead and say, I'm not going to go and hold out. I'm not going to go and sign this contract. They're trying to make him feel like the villain, but good on this kid here. James Cook for Buffalo's holding out right now. Terry McLaurin for the Commanders. There's so many holdouts right now. Does any specific holdout for you, Chris, kind of stand out in terms of being they shouldn't hold out, they need to sign? Because every holdout I'm seeing I feel is justified from the player's end.
No, I agree with you that every holdout that I see as well, there's not one person that I'm like, oh, I don't know why they're holding out.
No, you're a company man. You sure about that?
Yeah, even Smith, a company man. God, you're not ready for that debate. You're not ready for that debate.
All right, sure.
But no, I think everything is fine. Even for Smith with the Dolphins, I know he signed that contract, but
Smith is ridiculous.
But
Smith,
he
lost your mind. I didn't even include him in the mix.
Can I finish my point?
Sure, go ahead and finish your point.
The producer said they would mute you. So no, I think to your point, I think that everything is right where it should be. The question is, Johnny, is what guy that is right now holding out could maybe help one of our Florida teams? That's the real question.
No,
I think about
if you want to live in a fantasy land, sure.
I want to see that, right?
Sure.
I would like to see that.
Yes.
The guy from the Bengals, let's give a third rounder. Let's get him over here.
You think Hendrickson's going to go for a third rounder?
I'm just saying, you got to start somewhere.
They allowed him to go and search, but the thing is that with the Bengals, they're going to want multiple first rounders, and not to say that he doesn't warrant that, but nobody's going to give that up because they have to pay the man as well. So yes, in the fantasy land, there's plenty of players. I love for T.J. Watt to be in the Dolphins. That's not going to happen. I love for Micah Parsons to somehow wind up on the Bucs. That's not going to happen.
But we can talk about it because this is
our
show.
Of course. We can go ahead and in the fantasy land.
We paid top money to say what I want.
We can go ahead and discuss these things. It's just interesting on what the Dallas Cowboys and Micah Parsons. That's nobody knows what's going on with Jerry Jones in that situation there. Now, what Hendrickson and what the rookie they signed here, that's going to be interesting. If the Bengals are going to go ahead and hold their ground with the rookie, I don't know. If the rookie should hold his ground, and you excited about you get drafted by an NFL team, you want to start playing. But I normally would be like, as a rookie, like, dude, you got drafted, shut up, go ahead and sign. But the language and the things that they want this kid to sign on, I agree with this kid 100%. Go ahead and just go. No, sit out until they remove that very vague language that essentially is going to eliminate
I'm a little
all of your
confused.
guarantees.
At first, I thought you were saying he was dumb. Now you're saying that he's smart for holding out. I missed
No, my issue was I was never because you're the company man. You're always normally
company man
like
again.
no NFL owners deserve the right to do what they want to do. They
I'm
have
a
the
company
money.
man.
Like no, yeah, I get it.
Clearly, you know who pays the bills.
So the only things that I look kind of sideways on. It's interesting that James Cook is holding out with the Buffalo Bills. McLaurin. I completely understand why he's holding out. You're going to go ahead. You've done all the work with the Commanders, and Debo Samuels comes in getting paid that money. I'm like, hey, I've been here.
And then Debo does him a favor with that tape of him looking 50 pounds heavier.
So
he does him a favor.
So I understand.
No, I get that.
It's certain things that are interesting. TJ Watt is going to get paid with the Steelers. He's doing his thing, but Steelers are a prime organization. As much as I hate their fans, but he's going to get paid. They're going to do right by TJ, so I'm not really worried about that. So there's a couple things there. Same thing with Sean Slater. He's holding out with the Chargers, but he'll get paid as well.
And that's what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks before camp actually officially starts. Let's talk about the current news that we all know, where Aaron Rodgers, it was like a hidden secret, but everybody really knew it, especially because the NFL had the schedule where they had the Jets Steelers week 1. You weren't fooling anybody.
I don't know, man.
What are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers being a Steeler?
I mean, you have to look at it. It's just an upgrade to the position. You saw kind of Aaron Rodgers kind of moving in that direction. Started having a better season last year towards the end, so he was on the upswing. I don't know. Aaron Rodgers is not Tom Brady. The dude's 41 years old. He's 41. Tom Brady lived his entire life just his diet, everything about his life was about football. Aaron Rodgers is a hippie that is outstanding, but traditionally, Chris, outside of Tom Brady, 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks are a mess. They don't do anything. Of course, you have the quarterback for the Raiders that won the MVP at 40 years old. Can't remember his name right now, but he lost to the Bucs in the Super Bowl. But I understand there's exceptions, but for the most part, 40 years old, late 30s, 40s, you're done. Aaron Rodgers hasn't done anything of real substance in years. So I don't know. Is this going to be a tremendous upgrade for the Steelers?
Are you talking about Rich Gannon for the
Raiders?
There
you go, Rich Gannon. Yeah, 40-year-old MVP.
Yeah.
So
okay.
That's.
I was really trying to not talk over you. So this is my best. By the way, we're back after 2 weeks off. That was my best job trying to not jump over you.
Okay.
Because you're always trying to bring up Tom Brady to compare him to Aaron Rodgers or to anybody.
I'm going to compare to any 40-plus-year-old quarterback.
It does not matter.
Doesn't happen often.
It does not matter. Okay,
it does.
Granted, maybe that doesn't happen often, obviously, but this is not about Tom Brady, Johnny.
Okay.
This is about Aaron Rodgers, about what the Pittsburgh Steelers, what they saw in him, and about the missed opportunity that they feel they had that the Jets maybe have fumbled on, or else we wouldn't be here right now.
The Jets fumbled when they entered the National Football League.
Again, we're talking about minicamp here at Florida Man Sports, and if you saw the minicamp, Aaron Rodgers, the hippie, like you just so called it, looked pretty darn good. He looked pretty darn good
against his own players.
Okay, no, but again, he looked good. He looked for ripping your Achilles. So you can make fun of me on Achilles. I knew it was coming. For him ripping it, and then year 2 now of that injury, doing as good and being as vital as he is, I like it. I like to see it. And so let's go wins and losses with Pittsburgh. I'm gonna say not. If you're taking the over/under for MGM, I'm taking 9 and above. Because of the coach, because of the team, I'm taking 9 and above. So I'm taking the money side.
You could have won 9 with Mason Rudolph because Tomlin's already won 9 games with Mason Rudolph. Went to the playoffs with Mason Rudolph. So the guy doesn't go under 500. He never has an entire coaching career.
And now you just jinxed him. The Johnny Cinco curse.
You said that the last 2 years.
Forget what I just said.
He said that the last 2 years.
Good Lord.
Aaron Rodgers, it's all right, I get it. It's there, but I think they would have been better served by going ahead and making an attempt for really drafting. I know they got a quarterback there. I mean, maybe they're kicking themselves. Shadir Sanders is looking really good right now in Cleveland. Some people are speculating, I guess not me because it's too early to say, that he's really competing, maybe pushing for the #1 spot there, but that's a different story. But maybe they should have went ahead and taken some risks in the draft and figuring things, draft multiple quarterbacks.
I tell you, you can't talk about Brady and you talk about Brady's person that he mentored in Sanders. You see how your brain is just like.
I'm bringing up Brady because obviously we're referencing a 40-plus-year-old quarterback, and the last time we saw tremendous success with the greatest of all time. And Aaron Rodgers is so talented, one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but he's not Tom Brady. He doesn't live, eat everything football. He's just a guy, he does football for his job.
He's also a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and hopefully Pittsburgh now can compete.
Over a decade ago, yes.
Sticking with the Steelers, a.k.a. also talking about the Bucs, wrapping this one up, Johnny Cinco. Got to talk about Antonio Brown.
Boy.
As of the last few hours ago, breaking news was, well, you got to say my boy.
Listen,
breaking news was.
Don't you have him on your number?
You
have him in your contact list.
I'm calling right now. Was that he is now accused of attempted murder is the charge.
Attempted murder.
But he's still tweeting or Xing or whatever you want to call it. So while this is happening, what are your thoughts on that?
This isn't a surprise. I feel bad for the guy. The guy's been a nutcase for a while. None of this surprises me. If you're going to go ahead and end your football career by taking off your uniform and walking on essentially half naked, walking off there.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
And you saw kind of like some of the tweets he put out there, even afterwards, regarding so many different things here, regarding Caitlin Clark and Giselle and with Tom Brady. The guy's off the rocker. Now, was I expecting attempted murder? No, but it doesn't surprise me.
That wasn't your bingo card.
It was on there. I'm saying for me. It's not a surprise that he finds himself in legal trouble. He's found himself in legal trouble essentially every 6 months or so. I don't know. I don't know the details on it. It's just sad to see somebody who had all the talent in the world, one of the best receivers in the National Football League of all time, and he should be looking into in the next couple of years being fitting himself with a gold jacket. Now is potentially that he's going to be wearing an orange jumpsuit. So it's sad.
I'm going to disagree with you about the jumpsuit part because, look, at the end of the day, legal process has to happen. Last I checked, in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. And so I'm going to disagree with you wholeheartedly on that because this is on the instance of what happened. This is on what happened just a few weeks ago where the cops let him go. And so there's a lot of red tape that you got to cross. I think he's going to be okay.
And why is he running?
I think he's going to be
fine. Why is he running?
I think he's going to be fine because
why?
I hate that I'm saying this, but I'm saying anyway. Why did Tom Brady break his phone? Because at the end of the day,
that's the same thing as attempted murder.
At the end of the day,
oh my God,
people got to cross the T's and dot the I's
ridiculous.
Before they talk
You're
to law
talking
enforcement.
about an NFL
Listen,
investigation.
He's doing his job.
That was proven.
I hate that I said that.
I regret
that I brought this up.
The NFL.
He's lactating right now. I regret that I brought this up.
You comparing the same thing there? You're ridiculous.
Bottom line is,
why did you break the phone? You're getting charged with attempted murder. Where are you at? You're hiding. You're fleeing, and you're texting.
I see this as a money grab. But little do they know that Antonio Brown is not that wealthy.
This isn't,
and that's really the bottom line.
This isn't an allegation like we've been hearing, regardless of whether it's some misconduct with women or doing something else here, or sometimes where it's legit, or sometimes where it's a money grab. It's an attempted murder. So attempted murder, you're not sitting here being like
allegedly.
It's a money grab. Look, you're getting money grab. Something happened there. Shots were fired. Things happened, and it's attempted murder. So you're not going to sit here and be like it's a money grab. No, Antonio Brown's a complete idiot. He's been a complete idiot for a long time, and he thinks he's invincible. He's about to find out real quick that he's not. And you can say what you want within the next, because he doesn't have any money. In the next year or so, he's going to find himself in that orange jumpsuit.
We're trying to put a bow on this episode. Florida Man Sports. We are streaming on all major platforms.
I told you, it's his boy.
If you're just joining us, do please like, share, subscribe on X, on YouTube, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcasts. I will tell you once again, though, we are trying to get to 100 likes or followers rather on Facebook, so we can stream live there. And I did get one last comment, Johnny, before you put a bow on this episode.
How great I was this episode.
No, somebody said something about that they're 67 years old, and I don't understand that. So if you're still watching right now, I'm 67 and I'm still kicking. I don't know what that means.
Maybe he's still alive.
Maybe he's talking about how you were belittling the fact that Aaron Rodgers is older for a quarterback.
Yeah.
And this guy's still, you know, in his youth, kind of at his
Yeah, he's
67.
still kicking.
I think
He
that's
ain't
what it
kicking
is.
footballs in the NFL.
I think that's what I mean.
He ain't kicking footballs. He ain't doing anything. He's still kicking.
Maybe get a shot. Grammatica's like 60 something right now. Give him a shot. You never know.
Grammatica. Yeah, he couldn't
just saying.
survive in the NFL when he was in the NFL. A celebration broke his own leg.
One of the
sure.
one
All
of
right,
the greatest
sure. All right.
Buccaneer kickers in history.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Shame on you.
Did he have one in the Super Bowl? So
TBD.
we appreciate you guys watching and listening. Like you said here, please feel free to go ahead and follow us on all the channels you just referenced there. So we appreciate you guys. We're out.
We're out, folks.